Last year, only 1% of fathers took up the option of shared parental leave. So, do you think it's selfish of parents not to take advantage of the fact they can have shared parental leave?
I'd hate to say I think it's selfish. You know, I think it should be something that's by choice. And I think what's great now is that fathers, you know, can do that.
Yeah,
they can, you know, request paternity leave, and that's amazing. But I think for the ones that maybe don't want to, I don't think they should be made to feel guilty about it.
Really, why do you think that the take-up is so low?
Well, I mean, personally, I would like to defer it because I would like them to take over paternity about 18 months when they're really, really annoying you and smashing everything and pulling your hair and impossible.
Is this your partner or the baby?
But you know, I have carried that baby for 9 months. I've pushed it out of my nun on the kitchen floor, and I want to sit snuggling it and smelling it and holding it to my breast.
I want to.
Yeah.
You want to dictate the terms. And if women always want to dictate the terms, they have to take the consequences of that. And other days we'll sit and moan about the fact that women are paid less and they don't want, we want equal opportunity unless we actually give guys equal opportunity to be involved with the baby from the very beginning. Then we're never going to get the rest of the stuff.
Isn't that what this is about? I mean, they can now.
We don't encourage them enough. We still have...
Because I don't want him to.
Because you just sat there and said, I want to snuggle the baby. It's my baby. I pushed out of my noon and I'm having it until I decide that you can have it.
For the first few months while my nun is healing and that baby isn't grabbing everything and throwing it across the room, I have earned that time.
Well, OK, well, that's fine. If you want that, that's fine. But then you will always have a difference in pay. You will always have a different employment opportunities. And you better explain that to your two girls.
Not necessarily.
No, listen, no, that's not the...
I don't agree with that, actually.
No, because, you know, the thing is we want equality, but we also have to recognise and accept that there are basic differences in man and woman. And I love those basic differences. Yes.
What about two gay blokes that have babies?
Well, there will be one out of a gay couple that would be naturally inclined to want to look after the baby.
But it won't be based on their
one...
gender. But it won't be based on their gender.
Well, actually, Nadia,
so why do we assume that women
can
are
I just interject here? You can't necessarily answer. You can't necessarily answer. So actually, that's a really interesting point. If there are any gay couples who are watching, what did you do? We're talking about this totally hypothetically, but please get in touch and let us know, because you can't know the answer to that one, Nadia.
No, I can't know the answer, but I think that
and
some people, and there will be some men and some women where the woman would prefer to immediately go back to work and that's fine. I'm not talking about anyone else, but personally, I wanted those first few months on my own with the baby.
I hear your argument, Kaye, in that I think, you know, we do make a real rod for our own backs. You know, we demand equality, and yet at the same time we try and hold on.
But we can also celebrate our different
women,
isn't it? Because
we're not talking about celebrating
experiences.
differences. We're talking about people not taking advantage of the fact that there is shared paternity and only 1% of men take it up. Why do you think that is?
Culturally, we make an assumption that the woman will be at home and the guy will go out to work. We do that in so many ways. And a lot of reasons is it's because men get paid more, and therefore for a family that is struggling, it makes sense for the man to go back to work because he's earning more money, and that's entirely practical. But everything about the way our society is set up assumes women will stay at home and man will go out to work. And if we want to make changes in the way that our society is organised, we have to really work hard to say to the guys, this is your opportunity. If you want... What?
Not if we don't want to.
Yes, but what she's saying is, what if you're with a guy who goes, but I want to be with a baby as well?
What if Mark had said to you?
Really annoying.
Well, it was really annoying to conceive it, so you should have got... Right, I've got some good comments here. Vicky says, I carried my son for 9 months. I don't want to share maternity leave. If my husband was adamant he wanted to share it, then he could have the last 3 months. I just want to be with my son 24/7. Emily says, it's ridiculous that leave is shared if the man wants more than 2 weeks off. Men should be given longer, but it shouldn't affect the mum's leave.
Yes.
And or Jennifer says, all these women banging on about equality, yet when it comes to parenting, they want anything but equality. They refuse to share their maternity. They refuse to let the fathers be the main care provider while the women go to work. We can't have equality just when it suits.
Who's that?
Jennifer.
Love Jennifer. I mean, what What if Mark
But there's
seriously
loads of
had
times
said
that-
to you, no, come on. What if Mark has said to you, right, OK, we're having a baby, my darling, and I really appreciate the fact you've carried this baby for 9 months, but I want to be involved from the very beginning. So please, can we share it absolutely equally? I want to be there, I want to be snuggling, I want to be doing all that stuff. You go back to work 3 days a week and I'll work, whatever, you know, we'll arrange it equally.
I would have to agree, but as I say, it would be very, very annoying. And the thing is, don't make any mistake, all the power is still with men in our society and right across the world, believe you me. So if there's just this one thing that I can really have, I have grown that baby, if I can just have those first few months, because all the power is still with men anyway. And everything else I'm prepared to fight for. But that for me is
yeah,
my
but you've
right.
got to give to get back, so you're going to have to
give
give
all the
away
time.
a bit of that power on the domestic
We give
to
all
get
the
it
power.
back in the public world.
I feel like I'm on Jeremy Kyle.
We've only just started.